All right, today we're going to dive into a really powerful but sometimes tricky strategy for high-income earners. It's called the Backdoor Roth IRA. If you've ever felt like you're locked out of tax-free retirement savings, this is for you. It's one of the best ways to build wealth outside of the tax system, but you have to do it right. So let's break it down. So you're climbing the ladder in your career, your income's going up, and then, bam, you hit a wall. The IRS literally tells you that you make too much money to contribute directly to a Roth IRA. You're locked out. It almost feels like you're being punished for your success, right? But what if there was a way around that limit? And here are the cold, hard numbers for 2026. If you're single and making over $168,000, or you're married filing jointly and making over $252,000, your contribution limit is zero. Zilch, nada. That is the wall we're talking about. Now, the name Backdoor Roth can sound a little sketchy, I get it, but let's be super clear here. This is not some shady loophole. It's a completely legal, well-known strategy. Congress knows all about it. They've had chances to close it, and they haven't. It's just part of the tax code as it stands today. So how does this thing actually work? Well, the mechanics are surprisingly simple. It's just two steps. First, you contribute to a traditional IRA, but, and this is key, it's a non-deductible contribution. You're using after-tax money. Step two, you turn right around and convert that traditional IRA into a Roth IRA. That's it. That's the whole move. So how much can you actually move through this backdoor? Well, it's tied to the regular IRA contribution limits. For 2026, that's $7,500. Or if you're 50 or older, it's $8,600. Now, that might not sound like a life-changing amount, but trust me, when you do this year after year, the impact is huge. Okay, and here is where things can get really messy. This is the single biggest catch you need to watch out for. That simple two-step process, it works perfectly if you're starting from scratch. But if you already have other money sitting in pre-tax traditional IRAs, you are about to hit a major speed bump. And that speed bump has a name, the pro-rata rule. Here's the deal. The IRS doesn't care if you have 5 different IRA accounts. To them, all of your traditional, SEP, and simple IRAs are all just one giant pool of money. So when you go to do a conversion, you can't just pick and choose the money you want to convert. The conversion gets pulled proportionally from that entire pool. Let's make this real with an example. Let's say you have an old rollover IRA from a 401k at a previous job. It's got $93,000 in it, all pre-tax, meaning you haven't paid a dime of income tax on that money yet. Now, you hear about the backdoor Roth and you want in. So you open a new traditional IRA, you put in your $7,500 of after-tax money, and your plan is to convert just that new money. Simple, right? Well, not so fast. Because of that pro-rata rule, the IRS looks at your total IRA balance, which is now $100,500. And that new $7,500 you just put in, it only makes up a tiny 7.5% slice of that whole pie. The other 92.5% is all pre-tax. And here's the punchline. When you convert that $7,500, the IRS says, nope, 92.5% of that conversion is coming from your pre-tax money, which means you suddenly owe income tax on most of the money you converted. It completely torpedoes the entire point of the strategy. So how do you avoid this trap? The key is to get that pre-tax money out of your IRAs before you do the conversion. And for a lot of people, the cleanest way to do that is to roll over all of that pre-tax IRA money into your current job's 401k. See, 401ks aren't part of the pro-rata calculation. This move effectively clears the deck, leaving you with a zero pre-tax IRA balance, which lets you do a totally clean, tax-free conversion. And why would you go through all of this trouble? Why jump through all these hoops? Because the prize at the end is absolutely worth it. The goal is to get your money into a Roth IRA where it can grow and grow and grow, and you will never pay taxes on it again. Tax-free growth for life. And I'm not talking about a small difference here. When you actually run the numbers and compare growing your money in a Roth versus a regular taxable account, the long-term difference is, well, it's absolutely staggering. Just look at this. This is a real eye-opener. Based on consistent contributions from age 45, that money in a Roth IRA could potentially grow to over $5 million. That same investment in a normal taxable account, where taxes are constantly eating away at your returns, only grows to about $2 million. That is a $3 million difference just from being in a more tax-efficient account. It's incredible. Now, of course, it's not all sunshine and roses. There are some risks. We've hammered the pro-rata rule home. That's the big one. There's always the chance Congress could change the law and get rid of this.
You also need to know about some 5-year rules for conversions that can trigger penalties. And finally, there's paperwork. You have to file IRS Form 8066 every year, and you have to do it correctly. It's not optional.
Okay, that was a lot of information, I know. So let's just boil it all down. What are the absolute key things you need to walk away with? Here it is, plain and simple. First, the backdoor Roth is a totally legitimate strategy. Second, the pro-rata rule is the #1 trap that can blow the whole thing up. Third, you can often sidestep that rule by rolling your pre-tax IRAs into your 401k first. And finally, if you get this right, the reward is massive. We're talking about a lifetime of tax-free growth that can completely change your retirement picture. And of course, we have to say this. Everyone's personal situation is different. So this is all for educational purposes. You should always talk to a qualified financial advisor or a tax professional before you make any moves. This is not financial advice.